What's up, everybody? This is Dave with Moniology.com, and this is the uranium sector review for March 17th, 2019. What can I say? Last week was a really good week for the uranium sector. Nothing nuclear about it. It was just breaking out. A lot of explosive moves to the upside. As you'll see in a moment on the URPTF monthly, weekly, daily perspectives, it's on the verge. It's been on the verge for a couple of years, but I feel like it's on the verge. Bottom line is, until it breaks out from the downtrend, there's nothing to see aside from a couple of percentage points of tradable gains. But why we invest, in our perspective, is how do we get into the long-term trends? How do we ride them out? And this is what I'm looking at. You see here, this is the monthly perspective. Since 2017, it's been in a downtrend, but it's in the bullish wedge, and it's on the verge of breaking out. And so keep an eye on this chart and see what happens over the next couple of months. Here's the weekly. Again, should this break, that's when I initiate very heavy long positions we're talking 100% gains in the majors, and then possibly 1,000% gains in the best looking miners. Here's the daily ETF as well. It might pull back here at the 200 day moving average, but ultimately I think 1330 is that next step for this particular name. And here's the hourly. Obviously it's very overbought, but I can see it moving towards 1270. There's a gap fill here that might eventually be filled either this week or next. I think it's a possibility we go to 1270, then pull back 1245, and then ultimately break higher towards that 1330 level. But overall, very exciting on uranium. Here are the charts that I have in my sector. If there's anything missing, definitely let me know. I will point out that I am under the weather, so I apologize for my voice and occasional pauses. Secondly, this is the second time I'm shooting this video. The last time around, it completely was lost on me, so if I'm moving a little bit fast, I apologize in advance. ALX uranium, nothing to see here. It's just consolidating. If it moves above 10 cents, this is a very good entry point. Anfield Energy, on the other hand, is very interesting as it breaks out above this wedge, consolidates above that wedge a couple times, and now it's got the PPO breaking above zero. You've got momentum building over here, so this one can have a very, very nice move in the coming weeks ahead. API.CA Energy, this one's consolidating beautifully. RSI did not end up so well last week, but that could be just a short-term blimp on the radar. If this moves above 40 cents on a weekly close, really 50 cents on a weekly close, this can set up for a multi-bagger move to the upside. Blue Sky Uranium, we pointed out that we initiated a position last week. We love this breakout here. We love momentum's breakout above 50. We love PPO. We love the volume. So it's got a lot of positive indicators. I would love to see it to pull back some so I can add more on a successful retest, but this can see 32.5 cents followed by about 75 cents very quickly thereafter. Cameco, this is the leader in the space. It's kind of created this rounded bottom here. If it breaks out above $13, that's a very positive sign for the space. You see it's still in this pennant consolidation, but it looks to be getting ready to break higher. Stay tuned. Canalaska, it's every time it's hit this downtrend line, it's kind of fallen back. Now it's finding support at that 20-cent zone, so let's see what happens. This is a fairly interesting risk-reward entry because below 20, I think it goes to 10 cents. But above 20, it's coiling and could set up like a blue sky or just has a nice hammer pattern one day, 1 week, and then it just takes off without looking back. Deep yellow, similar to the name we saw earlier in APIA, it's consolidating here, and eventually I think it's going to break to the upside, and it's going to create some really, really nice gains, but it's not there yet, so just keep this one on your radar. Denison is in the list of a couple of names here in the space that have had some very noisy consolidations. Eventually, should this break out above 85 cents, then it's going to set up for a long-term move. But until then, these are just tradable moves towards 70 cents and down and back and forth. So there's nothing really to see here. Encore Energy, on the other hand, this one we initiated a new long here. and it's pulled back some, which is great. New entry points for individuals. Should it break back above 15 cents, that's where I think it's going to really see some really nice explosive gains to the upside. But yeah, this consolidation above a cup and handle is a very positive development. Energy fuels. This one, it's got a very beautiful bullish flag formation here. If it can break above the 350 level, as RSI broke out, so too price will typically follow. But what I like about this name, it's got tremendous upside. It's very clean. There aren't many levels of technical resistance, so it can really move fast. You know, I could see it move from 3.5 to 7 in a couple of weeks should it break out. Fission 3.0, this is an interesting area for the value investors, the contrarians, to initiate longs. I'm not sure why it's fallen so hard, but look at the volume here. If the fundamentals are in place, then this could be a great entry point. Fission uranium, this one, it does have a positive double bottom here with positive divergence, but I just don't like names that have broken down because there could be more downside ahead. So you know, if you're a contrarian, you want to initiate a position long here, I could see a move from 35 to 70 relatively quickly. But from a longer term standpoint, until it breaks above 70, I'm not interested. Forces Metals, on the other hand, is something that's very interesting. It's kind of consolidated here, rounded bottom, cup and handle. Now it's setting up for a move higher again. I like just the rounding, coiling formation of PPO. RSI is above 50 here, so I like the looks of this one. Should it break 28 cents, that's your buy trigger to go longer term. Global Atomic, another one that broke out above its triangular pennant here, and basically any point above 36 cents is a buy from a weekly perspective. Gold mining, we own a lot of this, so I just wanted, obviously I'm very bullish on this one, and we've done our due diligence. It's setting up very nicely, consolidating on a technical perspective, but I want to point out why I like this name and why it's included in this particular space. It's a gold mining company, but it has a very large uranium deposit in one of the hottest areas in Canada. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. But anyway, do your due diligence. It's called REA. And if uranium price breaks above 35, 40, this particular asset could be a very, very nice acquisition target. The chairman of this company happens to be the CEO of UEC, which will be covered momentarily. And so he definitely knows the space. So it's very interesting because if uranium does take off as everyone expects it to, except nobody knows when, then this particular asset could be worth a couple dollars per share in price. And obviously it's still under a dollar itself, so a lot of upside here just from the uranium perspective. GVX, for those of you who are in our Twitter community, this seems to be one of the most popular uranium names. I haven't done my due diligence, but they love the price. Every time it drops, they just add and add and add. So if you've done your due diligence, the technicals are suggesting that this can break out. And if it breaks out 13 cents, then that's when I'm going to go long. 20 cents, 35 cents, a lot of upside here in the short term, and in the long term, there's a lot of considerable fundamental upside potential. ISO Energy, I love this. If it can break above 60 cents, this has been just coiling very nicely, and it's just setting up for a big move to the upside. Laramide finally broke out above this bullish wedge above that initial breakout point. It's been consolidating above the breakout point, and so a move towards 40 cents is very possible. Move towards 60 cents is definitely in the cards as well here. NextGen is another one of those that have been a great fundamental story, but hasn't been able to break out above this downtrend. Could this be, the third time it's hit 160 and bounced? Could this be the time that it finally breaks higher? We'll see, but I definitely like this hammer pattern above the 200-week moving average. Could set up for a multi-week, month, and possibly year run. Paladin Energy, not much to see. It's coiling very nicely, and if it can break above this downtrend, it could really set up for an explosive move higher. But I'm noticing RSI is kind of breaking down, so it could also break lower, which would not be positive. A couple more charts here. Plateau uranium. This one, it's one of the more interesting charts. You see, it's got these downtrends and then breakouts, downtrends, breakouts. So if history is a good indicator of future performance, at least technically, this can make a very nice multi-week move very soon. Pure point uranium, it's starting to break out, but it really there's a lot of, because these charts are noisy, as soon as it gets to 10 cents, there's a lot of supply here. So if it can break out above 10 cents, this can make a nice move towards 15 and move higher thereafter. But until then, there's not much to see. Sky Harbor, another great fundamental story behind this one, but it's been breaking down. Although of late it's been coiling in a bullish wedge formation, finally broke higher. This can make a sharp move towards 42, possibly 54 cents on a tradable bounce. But for me to go long this name, I want to see it move higher above that 42, possibly 54 area. Couple more names. UEXCF, another one that's in a very nice bullish wedge. It's very nice unless you've owned it all the way down here. But if it can break out above that 12-cent zone, it can make a sharp move towards 20, possibly 30. Your energy, URG, similar to DNN, it's just consolidating here, but once it breaks out above 80 and it looks to be setting up to do so, then it can make a strong move higher. You see it's above its 250-week moving averages. Couple more names. Uranium Energy Corp, previously mentioned here, similar kind of noisy consolidation, but it looks to be setting up for a move higher. Look at the breakout above the downtrend. I probably will be initiating some new longs in this particular name this week. Uranium Participation Corp, beautiful coiling rounded bottom. It's kind of noisy here, but it looks like a cup and handle possibly. Should it break above 370, this can make a very strong move to the upside. And two more names here. Western Uranium. This has been a picture-perfect cup and handle. I mean, you can't draw it out better than this. It's beautiful rounded bottom, breakout, explosive move to the upside, consolidation. You kind of have to wonder whether this was a pump and dump or there was some positive developments here. But it rallied so hard and then basically started tanking, and then all of a sudden management decides to raise money, but it doesn't do so here. It does so over here, which, you know, it doesn't make much sense. But I did say that 70 cents is a very good support zone, and sure enough, we bounced. Should it break out above this downtrend and out of this cup and handle, this can make a very sharp move back towards the 220 zone very quickly. So I'm definitely watching this one. Finally, Westwater Resources. This has been a widowmaker for those who have owned this particular name, but if it breaks out above this wedge, above 25 cents, then it gets interesting to me. I will point out it is creating positive divergence and building momentum here on the weekly, so could have some upside in the future. Guys, thank you very much for watching. Again, my apologies for the voice. Check me out at, send me a note at dave@moniology.com if you want to be part of the premium subscription. We've got 60 spots left. We've got 40 of you who have reserved. I appreciate it. The subscription service, the premium videos like this will be only available to those that have subscribed, and that will start around the July area and will be only open for 100 people. So if you want to be a part of it, please shoot me a note, and I appreciate your support. Subscribe to these videos on YouTube and follow us on Twitter and StockTwits @Moniology. Thanks and have a great week.